Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Nev, and in today's video, I want to talk about the new 10.2 Discipline Priest changes. Now, in 10.2, Discipline Priest has gotten significant changes. There's a lot of spells that got kind of baked in with each other. They got rid of some of the button bloat, and they have removed certain abilities. And today's video, I just want to show you guys these changes. And I'm also on the PTR right now. I'll show you guys some of the new stuff that's going on with the class. And then I will give you guys kind of my feedback and what I think about these changes. Now, I do want to say that some of these changes are my own opinion. But please give me your opinion down below if you like some of these changes or if you don't, and if you don't, tell me the reason that you don't, because I would love to hear from you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to a browser here, and I already have it pulled up. So we can talk about the Disciplined Priest newest change. Okay, so they first and foremost, they start out right here is the goal of these changes is to simplify discipline's damage rotation, so there's not a lot of button bloat. Okay, I do really like this because as it stands right now in live, if any of you guys play Discipline, you guys know that we have like a 10 button rotation that we have to hit, and it's a lot of buttons. So for them to simplify this is pretty awesome, and I'm glad that they're finally taking a look at it. All right, so first change here is Schism has been redesigned and is now a passive talent. That's right. Schism is not an active ability anymore. It's going to be passive, which is pretty cool, but it's also pretty odd at the same time because as long as I've been playing Discipline, we've always had Schism, but now it's going to be baked in. So what's Schism going to do now? Well, now it's going to cause Mind Blast to fracture the enemy's mind, increasing your spell damage to the target by 10% for 9 seconds. So it's going to be a 9-second dot that gets put on the target, and it's going to, it's going to do what Schism has always done, right? But now it's going to be baked into Mind Blast. So every time you Mind Blast, you're applying that Schism. The next change here is that Shadow Covenant has been redesigned to be a passive talent. Okay? Again, we're getting rid of the button bloat. Okay? So now, Shadow Fiend or Mindbender will proc your Shadow Covenant. Okay, so whenever you use Shadow Fiend or Mindbender, Shadow Covenant will activate. Obviously, if you're using Mindbender, then I think it's 7. You only get 7 seconds. That's what it's showing right now. However, if you're using it with Shadow Fiend, you're gonna get 15 seconds. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I didn't really like the playstyle of Shadow Covenant in a way. I don't like that ability. And the fact that we always have to hit it in our rotation on live right now, it feels kind of odd to me. So I'm glad that they're doing that. My only question about this, though, is will there be a way to maybe increase the time? What's going to happen with the talents that affected Shadow Covenant before? Are they going to get redesigned? There's a lot of questions here, but I do like what they're doing so far. Okay, now Mind Blast now has a 24-second cooldown. That's a nerf. All right. Mind Blast was a 9-second cooldown. Now it's 24 seconds. Okay. Also, I wonder what they're gonna do with the talent that gave you 2 Mind Blast charges. I haven't really checked that out yet. But it also says right here, Mind Blast damage has been increased by 30%. So right now, Mind Blast is going to hit like a truck. Okay? It's going to absolutely hit like a truck. And especially if you get that Shadow Covenant off, Mind Blast is going to pump. Okay? So um it's just something to kind of be aware about. Now it says right here, Dark Indulgence no longer grants an additional charge of Mind Blast. Instead, Mind Blast has a 100% chance to grant power of the dark side. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. Uh, I'm okay with that change. I think I'm okay. Um, Inescapable Torment damage is increased by 60%. So if you play the squid build, I believe, then I think your squid, I mean your torments are gonna hit harder. Uh, Inescapable Torment now triggers from Penance, in addition to Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death. That's a cool change. I like that change because now you're gonna be able to get those 7, 9 torments. You should be able to get those out. I like that change. Um, Inescapable Torment is now a 1 point talent. It used to be 2. Again, another buff. I like that. I like, how we only need 1 point for this now. Um, Power Word Solace has been removed. Okay, I do like that. I thought adding an extra button in there was, it again removing that button bloat. And I like that. Okay, Harsh Discipline no longer triggers after 4 spellcast of Smite, Mind Blast, or Power Word Solace. Instead, Power Word Radiance has a 30 and 60% chance to cause your next penance to be free and fire 3 extra bolts. Okay? So, that's kind of cool. I guess, I don't like how it's kind of random. Um, I mean, I guess it's cool now because we don't really have to think about it. If it happens, it happens, where before we kind of had to play around with this harsh discipline like mechanic. So it's one less thing to have to think, one less thing to not have to think about. But at the same time, um, not being able to min max that kind of sucks. So now we get a new talent called Sanctuary. Smite prevents the next 80% damage dealt by the enemy. That's pretty cool. I like that because, as you're going to see later, with our new tier sets, Smite is going to be huge. Like, we're going to be casting Smite way, way, way more than we have in a long time. Smite's going to be huge. And so now Smite will put a debuff on the target and it's going to prevent damage. So it's going to be a DR for the tank, which is kind of cool. So it's an extra DR. Now here comes the new big thing. We have a new talent called Ultimate Penitence. So what that is you ascend into the air and unleash a massive barrage of penance bolts, causing holy damage to enemies or healing to allies over 6 seconds. While ascended, we gain a shield for 50% of our health. 50% of our health is a shield. Okay? And we're immune to knockbacks and stuff like that, or crowd control effects. Now, the only problem I see with this ability, and I was talking to my guild leader about this, is that if you have a mechanic on you or something and you hit this button, like, you can't really do nothing, you know? Yeah, that's 6 seconds where you're just kind of like You know, if I die, I die, right? Because you can't really do anything. So, but I do like this. This is going to give us a, it's not a big oh shit button, right? Because disc is not like that. But it's going to give us a little, it's going to help. So, you know, let's say that we're in raid progression or whatever. Okay, I don't know. Someone screws up a mechanic. You need healing right away, or people are just gonna die. You can hit this button. It's not a total oh shit. You know, I'm gonna save everyone's life, right? It's not a tranquility or you know, a salvation or a divine hymn or anything like that. But it's something, and we don't have to hit 500 buttons in order to pull this off. Okay, we hit one button and it works. So I do like this, and I'm glad to see discipline actually get something. Um, we also have a new talent called Heaven's Wrath. Cool name. I like that. Each penance bolt you fire reduces the cooldown of ultimate penance by 2 seconds. Now, ultimate penitence, it's a 4-minute cooldown. 4 minutes, okay? So we can't hit this button. We might be able to hit this once every boss pull. 2 if the boss lives long enough. So this Heaven's Wrath talent will help reduce that cooldown. We also get a new talent called Overloaded with Light. So ultimate penitence emits an explosion of light, healing up to 10 allies around you and applying atonement at 50% of normal duration. Pretty cool. It's extra atonement, it's extra healing, okay? Yeah, and that's I like that. Penance damage is increased by 15%. Okay. Any amount of damage is good. Penance healing is increased by 30%. 30%. Okay, so now penance, you know, penance is going, might hit as hard as Mind Blast. Probably not, but it's almost close, right? So, power word barrier now reduces 20% of all damage taken. It was 25%, so that's a nerf to barrier, which okay, whatever. Atonement now heals for 32% of damage done. It was 40%. Now, this is a nerf. This is a raid nerf. I don't like this. Okay, put us back at 36, but don't take us all the way down to 32. I mean, I gotta see the damage profiles of this new raid in order to see how good discipline will be, but take us down to 32 or 36. 32 is a little far in my opinion. Atonement healing is now increased by 50% when not in a raid. I love this change right here. I love this change because now that tells me that Blizzard is now thinking about these classes in a Mythic Plus format and in a raid format, right? Because before, if they made a change to discipline, right? If they made any kind of atonement healing change or anything like that, it had affected us in raid and it affected us in Mythic Plus, okay? Which sucks. Now they're splitting it up. So if they need to buff one or nerf one, it doesn't affect the other one. And that to me is awesome. Okay? I like that. I like how they're starting to think about, you know, instead of PvP and PvE, they're thinking about PvP, you got PvE, raid, and world content, then you got PvE Mythic Plus, its own separate entity, like its own separate thing, right? And the more that they change, they keep doing this type of stuff where they split it up 3 ways instead of just the two. A lot of classes could benefit because there's a lot of classes that do good in Mythic Plus, but they suck in Raid, and vice versa, right? So I personally like this change. All right, Flash healing is increased by 40%. 40%. So Flash Heal is going to feel pretty damn amazing. And I like that because that's going to give us a single target heal, a spot heal that doesn't cost a whole lot, and it's actually going to heal somebody. Okay? Power Word Shield Absorption is increased by 10%. Again, I like that. Divine Aegis is now a 1-point talent. It was 2. I like that change as well. Light's Wrath, Resplendid Light, and Wrath Unleashed and Make Amends have been removed. So that's another button that's removed because of button bloat and all that. Now, I know a lot of people are probably happy about this change because, okay, it's another button that's been removed. My problem with this, though, is that when Light's Wrath got announced for Dragonflight, I was happy. I was ecstatic because I've been playing Disciplined Priest since Legion, okay? And in Legion, Light's Wrath was amazing. Now, was it overtuned? Yes, it was overtuned. It was. But it was amazing. It was fucking awesome, right? And they could have made Light's Wrath amazing for Raid. They didn't have to fully remove it. They could have just buffed it. Buffed its damage. Buffed its healing. Buffed it some way. Okay? But instead what they did is they gave us 2 talents that completely sucked for it. And that's why we only took Light's Wrath. And that's just because we needed the damage, right? It wasn't because Light's Wrath was any good. It was just another damage ability that we needed. Okay? So, I don't like this change at all. What I think they should have done here is kept Light's Wrath, figured out how can we buff this thing in Raid. Okay? Make it really good in Raid. Make it where the only thing that we have to hit in Raid is Evangelism. You know, get our atonements. Evangelism. Light's Wrath. Bring back Legion Light's Wrath. Please. Because it was awesome. Alright. So let's look at the tier set bonuses now. So tier set bonuses... Let me find it here. Here we go. So your 2 set is Smite and Penance damage is increased by 20%, and Smite extends the duration of an active atonement by 2 seconds. Smite and Penance damage is increased by 20%. That means that Penance is now going to hit for 50%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. The extended atonement duration, okay, it's whatever. I don't really care about that. But Penance damage is increased by another %, and Smite, its damage increased. I like that. For 4 set is Smite has a 100% chance to cast in an additional time during Shadow Covenant, dealing shadow damage. This is kind of cool, right? So that means that when you pop Mindbender, when you pop Shadow Fiend, you hit Smite, Smite's going to hit twice. Not only is it going to hit twice, but it's going to hit twice at 20% extra damage. So we'll see. We'll play around with it. And we'll see what the numbers show. I'm sure that the numbers are going to get, I'm sure they're going to get played around with. But eh, it's okay, right? The tier sets is okay, but I am 100% excited for 10.2 for the rework. And I want to show you guys here. Let me flip over to the game here. I want to show you this new ability. Okay, this is the 10.2 PTR. I don't think we can get our tier sets yet, but this is that new ability. This is the ultimate penitence, and let's fire this sucker off and let's see kind of what it looks like here. So we go in the air, boom! Look at that. That's pretty cool. Like I like that. I don't like how long it is, the cooldown on it, but it's pretty cool. So like the notes did say, some of the stuff did change. So we got the ultimate penitence right here. That's where Light's Wrath was, and then Heaven's Wrath, and overloaded with light. But I wonder what they're gonna do with Shadow Covenant, or the Shadow Covenant stuff. So wondering what they're doing with this. Are they gonna get rid of Twilight Equilibrium? Because I personally don't like it. I know a lot of other people don't like it either. So there's some questions about what they're gonna do. But I do like the change, and I'm glad that they're doing something. Okay, so that's my little rant. Like I said, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Are you guys as excited as I am, or are you guys kind of, meh? It's whatever, right? So as soon as the Mythic Plus dungeons come up, and as soon as we're able to get test out the tier sets, I will be doing some more content on that. Hit the like and sub button if you guys enjoy the content that I do. So until next time, I want you guys to take care, be safe, and peace. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.